voluntarily surrender something without being detected and without being cornered, then concealment penalty cannot be levied, sir. So Supreme Court decision in case of Mac Data Limited is on its own fact setting, and if I am making a bona fide surrender and there was a bona fide doubt enigma to the taxpayer, so it did not made offer an amount for taxation, then penalty cannot be levied, sir. तो हर एक केस में जहां मैं सरेंडर करता हूं और कोई अमाउंट सरेंडर के साथ ऑफर कर देता हूं, वहां सुप्रीम कोर्ट का मैक डाटा का डिसीजन लगे, ऐसा सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बिल्कुल नहीं लिखा है, सर. ऑन द कॉन्ट्रेरी, the landmark decision which clears all these things is the case of Karnataka High Court, where after analyzing all the decisions which have come till today, Karnataka High Court has beautifully laid down the principles. सर, आपको बहुत ज्यादा जजमेंट्स अगर कंसीलमेंट पेनल्टी पढ़ना है तो एक ये डिसीजन मुझे लगता है कि जिसमें कर्नाटका हाई कोर्ट ने सब कुछ लिख दिया है. 359 ITR 565 मंजूनाथ कॉटन गिनिंग फैक्ट्री, 359 ITR page number 565. There Karnataka High Court has clarified the other intrinsic issues on these penalties. I hope if you will read them, then you can be benefited, and some of your doubts which I may not be able to resolve here on concealment penalty, if you will read the full text of this Manjunath Cotton Ginning Factory, I hope it will be clarified, sir. तो इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ कि मेरे शब्द आपके लिए लाभदायक रहे, आपने मुझे सुना इतनी पेशेंस के साथ और इतनी संख्या में, और मुझे मौका दिया अपने विचार रखने का, मैं आपका धन्यवाद करता हूं और ये आशा करता हूं कि मेरे से अगर कोई गलती हो गई होगी तो आप मुझे जरूर माफ करेंगे, और अगली बार जब मैं आऊंगा तो आई एश्योर यू कि आई विल कम विद मोर गुड थॉट्स इन विद मी. आई थैंक माय फ्रेंड्स हु हैव गिवन मी a very patient and a laudable and a propitious hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kapil Goyal. It was really a broad, such a speech and such a deliberation. But the subject which was so vast cannot be concluded even within 2 hours when we have such a learned speaker before you. But the time constraint to the organizer is that we have to start the second session at 12:50 has compelled me to suppress my desire of hearing him more. But the fact remains that whatever he has said, even though mentioned the souvenir, publishing the souvenir is one thing. Reading a book is one thing, and deliberating or hearing the lecture on this subject which is already printed is entirely different thing. So Mr. Kapil Goyal has kept us absolutely silent except the facts that he has given his lecture like a teacher, an expert on the subject to which all of us have been hearing him. Thank you, Mr. Goyal. Well, I have read about him in some of the judgments and especially in the souvenir. But there are various aspects of critical issues of the Income Tax Act. We have to go back to the Finance Act 2014. Almost everyone, including active and proactive professional tax advisors, mainly the lawyers and chartered accountants, having something to do or other with the Finance Act 2014, which was installed by the central government, it was especially pointed out that it is free from retrospectivity. In the official world, our Mantri, everybody is saying that the new government will not go on retrospective amendment on the various provisions of the Income Tax Act, for which a judgment has already been delivered by the Supreme Court or by the High Courts. It is, according to me, it is sad to observe that in doing so, in one's conviction, some of the deficiency which is hidden cannot be brought to the forefront. One such aspect that appears to have been simplicity glossed over, despite it being of the most concern to the taxpayer, relate to the retrospective changes in the law. So much so that by and large, the impression which has been floated around, unwittingly or otherwise, and by the revenue authorities in particular, have done their best to live up to the repeated assurance to do away the age-old obnoxious weakness of retrospective legislation. Only a few days back, I read in the newspaper that our Finance Minister Arun Jaitley was very, very emphatic that no retrospective amendment should be made or will come. But the fact remains that when we go to the revenue authorities, something which had been very, very clearly said in the first judgment referred by my friend Mr. Kapil Goyal, that Vatka Enterprises. The Vatka Towers, the Vatka Township case has very clearly mentioned at various places that what is retrospective and what should be treated as prospective. So the new charge which has been created by section 113 in this is the block assessment, since it is a new liability which has been created, therefore it has to be treated as prospective. And the earlier judgment which has been referred by my friend has been rightly reversed by the Constitution bench. But the fact remains there are certain provisions which have been made by Finance Act 2014 which has to be examined, especially with reference to capital gain. According to me, where two views are possible, the view in favor of the SSC has to be accepted. That has already been said in various provisions. But when we consider section 54 and 54F of the Income Tax Act, which provides for 100% exemption to an individual or HUF from the chargeability of the long-term capital gain that arises from the transfer of a capital asset other than residential house. The SSC, where the SSC invests the entire amount of net consideration in a residential house within the prescribed time limit, subject to fulfillment of other conditions mentioned in that section, and also for a proportionate exemption where entire amount of net consideration is not invested, but only portion of it is utilized for the acquisition or the construction of residential house. The Finance Act 2014 has made certain amendments in section 54F. I just quote, in section 54F of the Income Tax Act, subsection 1, for the words constructed a residential house, a residential house, the words have been substituted, constructed one residential house in India shall be substituted with effect from 1st April 2015. Now this is a prospective amendment according to the language used by it. But I have come across to certain decisions of the tribunal and certain decisions of the assessing authorities where they have treated this provision as retrospective, not prospective. Reason being what? Reason is the two changes which have been made by this Finance Act is benefit under section 54 shall be allowed only for investment in one residential house. The one residential house, the reasons are there, and the second which is made, a residential house which is situated in India. Friends, with respect to the first change, the amendment shall overcome the earlier decisions. One is of the Karnataka High Court, where it is CIT versus D. Anand Sappa, 2009, 180 taxman, page 4. In that case, the exemption under section 54 was made available when two flats are purchased and combined to make one residential house. You are aware that section 13 of the General Clauses Act referred that whenever it is singular use, the word plural is permissible and it should be treated A as more than one. In order to overcome such a decision given by the various high courts and tribunals, according to me, the Finance Act wanted to overcome that portion because there are other decisions, the Madras High Court, Karnataka High Court, and the decision, the fact that residential house consists of several independent units cannot be permitted to act as an impediment to allowance of deduction under section 54 or 55. I give an example. I purchased two flats in a colony at Jaipur. Those two flats are interconnected and I want to make it a one unit. Then according to me, they are entitled for the benefit of the exemption in respect to the capital gain because two have been made one. So the second change is concerned, that is a residential house, even it is permissible to have outside India also. But on this there is a controversy, and which according to me is a relevant controversy which should be taken care of when the amendment was made. It is necessary to point out that what has been substituted has come into effect for 1/4/2014. And a question arises whether the provision as it stood earlier prior to the amendment should be read a residential house in India or not? That's one moot question which has to be considered by us. In other words, whether the amendment is only clarificatory in nature, as pointed out by Mr. Kapil Goyal, or Section 54 was enacted with the view to call for investment of a long-term capital goal in a residential house within India. I subscribe the second view. Irrespective of the fact that these words have been added by the Finance Act 2014, which appears to be prospective, but it should be taken that a residential house has to be established, constructed or purchased in India. And for this purpose, a deliberation is required on the intention of the Union Legislature while introducing Section 54. Why I say so? Section 54 as well as Section 54F of the Income Tax Act are beneficial provision designed with a view to promote reinvestment of sale proceeds of a long-term capital asset in residential house properties in India. The benefit of these sections are available only to individuals in Hindu undivided family who makes the sale and purchase some residential house in India. Well, friends, it cannot be denied that there is a divergence of judicial opinion regarding the situs of construction or acquisition of property in which the long-term capital gain is to invested. Of course, there is one decision of the Gujarat High Court in Leena J. Shah versus Assistant Commissioner Income Tax, reporting 2006, 6 SOT 721, in which it was held that for availing the benefit of exemption under Section 54, the property acquired. Well, friends, what I was saying for others is equally applicable to me. I will conclude by saying that Section 54F, which was inserted from 1/4/1983, the purpose can be gathered from the speech of the Finance Minister, where he said there is a acute shortage of housing and house building activities has to be given impetus in the country. Therefore, what has to be interpreted as acquisition in India, and one of the judgment of the Supreme Court in 1981 4 SCC page 173, the Apex Court said that the speech of the Finance Minister should be taken into consideration for interpreting the provision of the statute. Therefore, with these words, I am happy to say that I have learned something here with the speech of Kapil Goyal, even though I may not be able to express my views as desired because the constraint of the time which I have seen in every conference or seminar. With these words, I thank the organizers for giving me this privilege of chairing this session. Thank you very much. I hand over the mic to the organizers.
Thank you, sir. We are about to begin the next session, and we are happy to announce that respected Shri Vaibhav Galaria ji, Commissioner Commercial Tax in Rajasthan, Jaipur, Rajasthan, has already arrived. And we are also welcoming respected Shri Satish Sharma ji, Commissioner Income Tax, for the session. So in just 2 minutes time, we will have a dialogue with authorities, a real dialogue session with the both heads of the department. 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you, sir. And with this, I request for a memento to our dignitaries on the dais.
आप बोलो ना नाम.
Can I request for the memento for our dignitaries? I request Shri G.P. Singhal ji Sahab from Bhilwara to present the memento to Shri P.P. Parekh ji Sahab for taking out time and a vote of thanks for the today's session. Can I request everyone present in the hall to give a big round of applause to sir?
Next.
I request Shri M.M. Sharma ji from Kota to present the memento to Bharat Agrawal ji as a vote of thanks. Can I request Pawan? Please, sir. Memento. I request everyone to please applaud. I request Shri J.P. Garg ji Sahab from Hanumangarh to present a memento to Shri Kapil Goyal ji for delivering in great and simple, in a very simple and lucid manner. Thank you, sir. With this, we'll begin with our next session. It was indeed a pleasure and an honor to us to listen. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Friends, we will be continuing with the next technical session, dialogue with the authorities. We are honored and privileged to have amongst us Shri Vaibhav Galaria ji, the Commissioner of Commercial Tax Department, and Shri Satish Sharma ji. We are just taking 2 minutes to rearrange the dais and we'll start the session.
Shri Vaibhav Galaria ji, he is a Commissioner, Commercial Tax Department, Rajasthan, and very known and a powerful personality with this great speaker. So it's an honor for us to have you here today. I request Satish Gupta ji to escort sir onto the dais. Huh. I request Shri Satish Sharma ji, Commissioner Income Tax Department, Jaipur, a very versatile person with a sharp acumen and ocean of related information. I request Shri Sandeep Agrawal ji to escort Shri Satish Sharma ji onto the dais. I request Shri Satish Gupta ji also to be onto the dais. We would like to call upon Shri Manish Agrawal ji and Pankaj Gia ji to present our Shri Vaibhav Galaria ji with a bouquet and a memento. I request Shri Lokendra. Yes.
डीसी माली को मिल लो संजय मित्तल और डीसी माली.
I request Shri Lokendra Sharma ji and H.M. Singhvi ji to present a bouquet and a memento to our guest Shri Satish Sharma ji. Thank you, sir. Now I request Shri Satish Gupta ji to take over the session, please.
Again, friends, welcoming you and a very good afternoon. The idea behind this session was this, that we consultants deal with the authorities on day-to-day basis. And there are certain things, certain inconveniences which are not being solved. And there are certain improvements, certain procedural improvements in the department which we cannot come to know. So we requested Honorable Galaria Sahab and Honorable Chief Commissioner Income Tax to send there, to come over with us and dialogue with us. जिससे कि जो भी चीजें आज कंसल्टेंट्स की परेशानी में नहीं बोलूंगा, जो भी डिफिकल्टीज हैं, जो भी चीजें हैं जो सामने नहीं आती हैं, जो क्लियर नहीं होती है, उनको हम क्लैरिफाई कर पाए. वैभव गलारिया जी से हमारा मिलना हुआ कुछ दिनों पहले एसोसिएशन के प्रेसिडेंट और उसके रूप में, और आई वॉज वेरी मच हैप्पी दैट द रेस्पॉन्स गिवन बाय हिम वॉज वंडरफुल. ही इज ए वेरी पॉजिटिव पर्सन and he has an outlook to solve the problems of the consultants as well as the trade and industry. So I welcome Galaria Sahab in this session. सतीश शर्मा जी हमारे लिए नए नहीं है, हम बहुत दिनों से इनको जानते हैं। हम चीफ कमिश्नर इनकम टैक्स साहब मिले, वो बाहर जा रहे थे, उन्होंने कहा कि सतीश शर्मा जी द राइट पर्सन टू रिप्रेजेंट द डिपार्टमेंट। आई वेलकम Satish Sharma sir also in this session. Now friends, I don't take much of time and I request to tell what new is going in the department, what is the vision of the department, what department expects from the consultants. So I will request Satish Sharma sir to first please come here and tell us the vision of the department and what department expects from the consultants. Satish Sharma sir, CIT TDS.
Thank you Satish ji. Respected office bearers of All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, Rajasthan Tax Consultant Association, Tax Consultants Association Jaipur, Jaipur Tax Bar Association, dignitaries on the dais, and dear friend. At the outset, I will convey my heartfelt thanks to all of you and especially the organizers for giving me this opportunity to speak before this august gathering of luminaries in the field of taxation who have come from all over the country. It is indeed a privilege bestowed upon me. I am humbled. We consider tax practitioners as our extended arms. We want to collect rightful dues from the taxpayers. Your motive is also the same. It is you who explain on our behalf the complexities of taxation, responsibility to pay correct taxes. It is therefore my pleasure to be amongst you. When Satish ji asked me to speak and he has given me a blank canvas, I thought I should speak on the changing phase of the department. I especially chose this topic because I thought I will be able to get some feedback from you as to whether we have been successful in our attempt to change the face of the department, what else can be done. Taxation in some form has been going on from the ancient times. It was only for the good of his subjects that he collected taxes from them, just as sun draws moisture from the earth and give it back to the earth. This was said by Kalidasa in Raghuvansh. That means there is enough evidence that taxation was there in some form even in the times of Lord Rama. Then there are references both in Manu Smriti and Arthashastra of Kautilya about the taxation. The view of those Sage and Kautilya are very relevant in these times also. Both of them said that the taxes should be collected in a manner that they do not pinch the subject. In fact, in Arthashastra, it has been written that taxes have to be specific, there should be no scope of arbitrariness. His overall emphasis was on equity and justice. He said it very categorically that the more capable person should pay more than the underprivileged. So this is of course history, but there are certain lessons to be learned from the history. There have been very, very major changes in last few years. In fact, I would say that department has been totally transformed. I have joined this department in 1990, that is about 25 years back. I have myself seen rapid changes in terms of growth of the revenue, tax rates coming down, attitude of the department towards professional and the taxpayers, policies and procedures, and adoption of technologies. The relationship between department and the taxpayer was that of suspicion, and the feeling was mutual. It was not taken well if the departmental people used to meet tax professionals. The procedures were very complicated. 100% scrutiny was there. The easiest way of increasing tax revenue was thought to be increasing the tax rate. Then there was this paradigm shift in 1990s. I think we learned a lesson from the history. The tax rates were reduced, procedures were simplified, the department started treating taxpayers as our clients, efforts were made to increasingly provide better services, and the results was there for everybody to see. Some miracle was happening. The tax rates were going down and the collections were going up. talking of tax rate and the direct tax collection, in 1990 when I joined this department, the tax collection was only direct tax collection was only 10,700 crore. Now it has grown up to 6.35 lakh crores in last year. That means there has been an increase of over 60 times in this 25 years. The maximum marginal rate now is only 33%. At one time it used to be over 90% also. The tax maximum marginal rate in India now is less than most of the developed countries. The share of direct taxes in overall central government revenue has also substantially increased. In 1990, it was only 18.7%. That means the indirect taxes were more than 4 times that of direct taxes. In 2007-8, direct taxes have left indirect taxes behind. Last year, the share of direct tax collection was 57% in central government revenue. This year, the target given to the department is 7.36 lakh crores, which is about 16% more than the last year. Till yesterday, we are growing at the rate of about 13.5%. So I think with a little effort and cooperation from you, the department should be able to achieve this. I also feel proud to tell you that till yesterday, the Rajasthan has been topping the chart. The growth in direct tax collection in Rajasthan is whooping 31.2%, which is more than double the growth in the entire country. As I said earlier, the face of department has totally changed over the years. From purely an enforcement agency, now we are acquiring a character of largely a service provider. So I would touch upon certain steps which department has taken in this direction. In 1999, first time the department thought of honoring taxpayers and Samman scheme was launched. In 2002, computerized processing of returns all over the country was introduced. National website for income tax was also launched to provide an interface with the taxpayer. In 2006, a project for enabling electronic filing of income tax returns was launched. A tax return preparer scheme was launched. The institution of income tax ombudsman to look into grievances of general public was made functional. Now it is functioning in 12 different cities. The jurisdiction is of all over countries covered by these 12 ombudsmen. In 2006, Government of India came up with a major administrative reform called Sevottam. Sevottam meant excellence in delivery of service. The government directed various government departments to come up with their schemes. And you will be surprised to know that the income tax department was the first one to adopt this Sevottam tax. That means we accepted that we are a service provider. This was a very, very big shift in the thinking of the department. Then we came up with a citizen charter where we show our commitment of providing various services in time-bound manner. The citizen charter is displayed in every office so that the taxpayers as well as the professionals are informed of our commitment. It also reminds all the officers of our commitment towards the taxpayers. The first citizen-friendly Ayakar Seva Kendra was set up in 2007. Now we have 270 Ayakar Seva Kendra all over the country. In 2009, Centralized Processing Center was set up in Bangalore. It provides a jurisdiction-free interface. Now almost 80 to 90% returns are processed in CPC Bangalore. So there is no interaction between taxpayer and the department. The refunds are automatically credited in the bank accounts of taxpayers. So it has been a very, very big step in the direction of taxpayer-friendly regime. In fact, this project was awarded gold medal in the field of excellence in government process and re-engineering. Now we are creating awareness by holding various conferences, seminars. This year in International Trade Fair at Pragati Maidan also we have set up a taxpayers' loans. In fact, that was also awarded silver medal. Then in 2012, we have come up with Traces, which is a website hosted by CIT CPC for, this provides one single platform for all TDS related matters. Because of this now, everybody is able to see what are the taxes deducted on his behalf, what are the taxes paid by him, what are the transactions reported by the deductors, what are the transactions of a person in information returns, so that he can file a correct return. In fact, this CPC TDS has processed about 1.8 crore statement in this year itself. About 26 crore TDS certificates have been downloaded from it. More than 2.5 crore taxpayers have seen their 26 years form. In November 2014, last month, CBDT has issued directions for taking various steps towards non-adversarial tax regime. It contains steps in the direction of honoring our commitments, streamlining procedure of the scrutiny, appeal, collection, etc. To top of professionalism, the department has brought a long-term vision document also, which is called Vision 2020. It is available on our website. It spells out our vision, mission, values of the department. It analyzes major challenges, current and future, and the opportunities which these challenges are going to throw before us, and our strategic plan in next 8 years. The department has also come up with a service quality manual. The Ayaka Seva Kendra are made compliance to service standards of IS 15700, which is the highest standard given by the BIS in the field of service delivery. The department is also setting up a mechanism to end unproductive litigation. A committee was constituted after this budget speech, which has painstakingly gone through about 2,000 case records and have suggested various recommendations for reducing the litigation. An appeal registry system has been initiated, and National Judicial Reference System is also in advanced stage of implementation. Of course, there has been some gap between what we intend and what we have been able to deliver. The major hurdle has been the shortage of manpower. Then voluntary compliance and simplified procedures means need of a very robust information system for enforcing compliance and increasing tax base. The requirement of robust information system in fact becomes even more important because our focus is now shifting towards non-intrusive methods of enforcement. So we have used technology very extensively. I would briefly touch upon some measures which have been taken by the department in this direction. As you all know, in 2004, as a measure of widening of tax base, the concept of annual information return was introduced. Various third parties are providing information about transactions with various persons as per specified parameters, and it is building a very detailed and wide database. As you all know, the scrutiny is now largely based on information provided in the return of income and information about taxpayer received from various sources. In 2007, the department has come up with integrated taxpayer data management system, ITDMS, which is also called 360-degree profiling. This is a very, very important step in the direction of enforcement. In fact, by way of this software, we are able to collect and correlate entire information relating to a particular assessee, particular taxpayer, his associates and everybody. For example, in Mumbai, once we got information that somebody has started from Delhi airport and he was carrying huge cash. So just because from his mobile number, we reached to his residential address. From residential address, it collated all information from various sources about his investment, other persons who have mentioned this address in the PAN. From those addresses and the details of those persons, we could make the entire grouping of concerned persons, and by the time he landed in Bombay, we had covered 7 premises, and it was a very, very successful search. So it has a very, very strong capability of clustering and collation. In 2008, we have established 2 cyber forensic labs in Bombay and Delhi. In these 2 cyber forensic labs, we are able to identify and retrieve digital data, which include deleted data also, password protection, protected data also, and we are able to extract all these data in a manner that it is admissible before court of law also. In fact, in October 2014, last month, 2 months back only, we have also come up with a digital evidence handling manual, which will enhance capability of our departmental officials. Now it has also been made compulsory to file audit reports electronically. This is making information base of the department really wider and deeper. Further, because of computerization of various processes, now it is very easy to identify defaulters. Be it defaulters of return, be it defaulter of TDS return, be it defaulter of anything. Like in TDS, now the system is throwing details of all those persons who have not filed TDS returns, details of all those persons who have delayed depositing TDS, which amounts to an offence, and then now from last year a very ambitious project which is called Data Warehouse and Business Intelligence is also being set up. It will be made functional in 3 years. A very talented officer of our department, Sanjeev Singh, who has set up financial intelligence unit of the country and is considered one of the international experts in the field of collation, is in charge of this project. It will bring entire internal data as well as external data in on one platform. It will provide collation and clustering of entire information relating to a particular assessee on real-time basis to the assessing officer. The scope of external data is also extended by building partnership with various government agencies and international organizations. Then new directorates of research and risk management have been set up in this financial year. SIT set up by Honorable Supreme Court has also made some suggestions to the government for curbing black money, which are also under serious consideration. I would also like to inform you about constitution of a high-level committee in last month. It is again initiative of the Honorable Finance Minister. This body is mandated to interact with the associations as well as trade bodies and identify the fields in which the clarifications are required in the field of taxation. And they will give their recommendations to CBDT and CBEC. And in fact, CBDT and CBEC are mandated to act upon recommendations of HLC in a time-bound manner within 2 months. So this is one body which you can fully utilize for making various suggestions. These are of course few significant things which have happened. At the end, I would say that the responsibility of professionals and chartered accountants is not exclusively towards the individual or their clients. It also involves public interest. The statements, the accounts, various things signed by you, we take them on face value. Various public institutions and public also take them on face value. That is why, in fact, we know that you have a very, very important role in compliance of various tax laws and procedures at different stages. I am really happy that I have been given this opportunity to interact on behalf of my department. Your suggestions are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, as far as income tax is concerned, the purpose of we consultants and the department is the same, that there should be not a single penny less payment of tax and not a single penny more payment of tax. And we work in this direction only. Sir, but I want to give some suggestions which are very much in nature of administration. Number one, sir, during the course of assessment, the consultants go to the assessing officer and is busy with some other assessee or the CA. And the queuing CA or advocate or the consultant does not know that at what time his number will come. And there is a mechanism to have a register there that he can mention his name and the name of the case. So his presence is marked. इससे क्या होगा सर कि कम से कम उसको ये रहेगा कि मेरी प्रेजेंस मार्क हो गई है और आई एम इन द डिपार्टमेंट. Whenever the assessing officer is free, he may even call to the consultant and he may present his case.
good suggestion, Satish ji. In fact, there is a instruction also to this effect. We will take this suggestion very seriously and we will try to implement this instruction without fail.
थैंक यू सर. लाइकवाइज सर, एक सारे अखबार में आया सर कि जो स्क्रूटनी होगी वो जिस कारण से स्क्रूटनी ली गई उसी इशू पे होगी. और व्हाट इज हैपनिंग सर, ऑल द असेसिंग ऑफिसर गिविंग द डिटेल्ड लिस्ट ऑफ द इंक्वायरीज. तो इधर द पेपर न्यूज इज रॉन्ग और द प्रोसीजर ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट इज रॉन्ग. तो लेट अस, द कंसल्टेंट शुड नो व्हाट इज द रियल फैक्ट, कि whether the paper news is not correct or is have some restrictions therein.
What you are saying has also been given in an instruction which was recently issued in November 2014 by CBDT.
Yes, sir.
So you please bring instances of this type to the higher authorities. That is the only way it can be tackled.
Yes.
I can tell you that Shri Swatantra Kumar, who was our Principal Chief Commissioner, he himself taken a lecture of all the assessing officers of Rajasthan and especially emphasized upon this. So still if this is happening, then we would like this to be informed to the higher authorities.
Thank you, sir, for taking this queries also in positive way. Sir, generally nowadays the appeal effect and rectifications are disposed in time. But we have so many cases, sir, which are pending for the appeal effect and the rectification since long. Since so many years even, sir. No appeal effect has been given, no refund has been given. At least those so many cases, we can collect those cases, we can request our members to send the things and we can submit to your whatever you suggest. But these should be solved, sir. बहुत सारे पुराने appeal effect pending पड़े हैं, sir.
I think we can set up a mechanism before every commissioner.
Yes, sir.
Where these type of cases can be taken up. And another way which I can suggest informally is you put these applications again in Ayakar Seva Kendra, because there the action on your application is tagged. So assessing officer will be constrained to take action on that.
No, right, sir. Now, sir, one direct query on your subject, TDS, sir, your area, sir. कुछ मिसमैचेज में सर अगर 3 डिजिट से ज्यादा गलती हो जाती है सर 10 नंबर डालने में, तो रेक्टिफिकेशन पॉसिबल नहीं है सर. तो इट्स वेरी हार्डशिप सर. अगर कोई गलती से उसने 10 नंबर डालने में गलती कर दी तो उनको सर वो कम से कम उसको रेक्टिफिकेशन का वो ठीक करने का मौका मिलना चाहिए सर. और इट हैज सो मेनी लार्ज डिमांड्स पेंडिंग बिकॉज ऑफ दिस सर.
This matter was also taken up at the highest level. In fact, it is thought that if there is a bona fide mistake, then it is not expected that more than 3 alphabets will be changed. What is happening is sometime to be saved of that 20% deduction provision, people are quoting wrong pen and subsequently correcting it. That is why this step has been taken. It is a basically compromise between, you can say, the convenience and the frauds.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for the positiveness shown by you, and I expect that in future also we will see the sirs and the department's favorable actions toward the consultants and the trade ministry.
Regarding TDS, I would just like to say one thing which is creating a lot of problem nowadays. See, we have an instruction that now every case in which there is a delayed payment of over rupees 1 lakh has to be necessarily processed for prosecution. So because of this, very large number of cases are thrown up for prosecution. In fact, all the commissioners TDS of entire country have also requested board to revise this instruction. So for the time being, they have asked us only to file prosecution in those cases in which the interest payment on delayed deposit is more than 1 lakh. But this is also a very long list, about 70,000 cases all through the country. So I would say that please ensure that the TDS deductible is deposited in time. It is an offence, and unfortunately the departmental instruction is there to necessarily process this case. There is a Supreme Court decision also which says that delay in deposit does not mean that the offence is not committed. So this is one aspect where one has to be very careful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Friends, we have amongst us wonderful, very young IAS officer, basically engineer, MTech, Vaibhav Galaria ji, who is heading the Commercial Taxes Department of the state. Friends, we all know that Commercial Taxes Department at least we consultants or the small trader facing so many problems. But before I discuss problems, I will welcome Galaria Sahab and will request him, please come here and share his vision and the expectations of the department with us. Thank you, sir.
A very good afternoon to all of you. Satish Sharma ji, Satish Gupta ji, or all dear friends. It gives me immense pleasure to be here amongst all of you. I had a part of the lecture, or part of the lecture being delivered by the last speaker in the last session. It was really thought-provoking and revealing. And from that I can sense the quality of discussions you are all having. I wish I could have participated in this entire deliberations here with you and learned a lot from you as well. However, time constraints are there, and I will not be in a position to participate for the entire sessions, but I would just like to throw some light on what all we are doing. Although I have been associated with this department for a very short period of time, until now it is almost 1.5 months, and most of the people who are dealing with the department are dealing for maybe 15 years, 30 years, so which is much more than my association with the department. But as I have been asked for, I'll just throw some light on the way we are working, the vision that we have. In summary, if I want to say, the vision that we have is to decrease, minimize or bring it to zero the interaction, the manual interaction between the department and the dealer. We would love to shift almost everything to the e-platform, and that is the vision that we have. That is the direction we would love to work in. As you are aware, we already have a lot of e-services available on our e-portal. The registration is e-basis, e-registration under VAT. However, as on date, when you opt for registration, you apply online, but the physical offline submission of forms are also mandatory. Now that is something which we would like to do away with, and as and when GST regime comes, that is the decision which has been taken at the All India level, that there will not be any physical interaction at the time of registration between the dealer and the department. It will be only through the e-portal, including all the requisite documents. Similarly, at the time of returns, we already have e-return facility which has been given to the dealers. We have started e-refund also. Until now, the refunds were manual. From 13th of December, we have started e-refund for normal dealers. For the exporters, we'll be starting e-refund in a short period of time, maybe by 15th of January. So from there on, 100% refund will be through online, and there will not be physical interactions. Different declaration forms like VAT forms 47, 49, as well as CST forms are already online. Under the REPS and other export forms, exemption certificate, tax clearance certificate have been made online. For the times to come, the department is working to have all the demand and collection registers, the DCRs, the pending demands, are also being made online. So for any dealer to know what are the pending demands which are standing against him, he need not approach the department, it will be available on the system. Similarly, we intend to, and we are targeting and we are working in the direction that all the assessments will also be made online from 1st of April 2015. So for a dealer, he need not approach the assessing authority to get his assessment done. And also, not only that, even today, assessing authorities are uploading the assessments once they do it on the system, but now from next financial year, the assessing authority will have to do the assessment itself online. So that is also a facility we are working on. Similarly, online issuance of TDS certificate, e-application for composition, closure of business, option for MRP, online amendment in registration certificate. These are different things that we are working on. The department has also declared, and this is part of the declaration by Honorable CM as part of budget speech, to set up a dealer facilitation center. Though most of the dealers do work through tax consultants, but we are also looking at the dealers who may not be in a position to hire a tax consultant for his or her work. So for specifically targeting those dealers, but for other dealers as well, we will be opening up dealer facilitation centers in all the zonal offices, and we are working on setting up a dealer facilitation center on a PPP basis in Jaipur on the line of Passport Seva Kendras. That is the vision that we are working with. Similarly, in line with the future GST thing, we are working on a common application platform for all kinds of registration, wherein if it is VAT, it is CST, it is luxury tax, entertainment tax, entry tax, all registration forms which are today different will be made common. As you are all aware, soon we will be moving to GST. The Union Cabinet has already approved a goods and service tax bill, and probably within this session of Parliament, GST bill will be cleared, and the states, all the states and community will be moving towards GST regime. As CCT Rajasthan, I am part of the sub-working group which is working on processes for GST, and I would like to share with you that under the GST regime, we are working on a common platform for all the dealers, whether they have to work with GOI, Central Taxation Authorities, or with the state taxation authorities. There will be a common GSTN platform wherein a dealer will have to apply for registration. The platform will then segregate the application for the state as well as for the central authorities. And once the central and state authorities do approve the registration, that will come back to the GSTN platform, and GSTN platform will in turn issue the registration certificate. So for the dealer, it will be the one platform. He will not have to go to separate authorities, to the center as well as to the state, but he'll have to go to one common platform wherein he'll get the registration. Similarly for the registration, similarly for the returns, and similarly for the refunds as well. So the procedural simplification that we are working on is to make sure that for the dealer, all the interactions are on the e-platform, and that too on the common platform, and he need not have to run to central and state taxation authorities separately. We are also working on a lot of simplification in terms of returns as well as registration formats. We are trying to make it as simple as possible. The TIN number, which will also be common for the dealers, for the central as well as state taxations, will be dependent on the income tax number, the PAN number that we use. And so the PAN number will be a common thread which will link a dealer with excise or the central taxation authorities, with the state taxation authorities, as well as with the income tax authorities. Here, through all of you, I would also like to appeal that it is desired that 100% dealer will have to get the PAN number and update it on our portal also. As on date, Rajasthan, we have 58% dealers have correct PAN numbers on our RasTax portal. So 42% of the active dealers still don't have it. I would request through you, because you are the dealing interface of the dealer with the department, that please ensure that remaining 42% dealers also have the correct PAN number on the RasTax portal. Otherwise, next financial year, we may have problems in dealing with such dealers. GST, I hope largely everybody is broadly aware about the contours of GST that we are working on. Government of India has given a lot of publicity. We have also formed a GST interaction committee at the level of government. Honorable Minister for Urban Development, Mr. Shekhawat, has been made the chairman, and all major representatives of the trade and industry and consultants as well as service sector have been made a member of that. The committee has been recently constituted and will be interacting regularly with all the sectors of trade and industry and service to get the regular feedback on the stand or stand we have to take in terms of GST bill, the framing of state GST bill, and as well as different tax rates and the processes that we have to adopt. Until now, we were also feeling a lack of formal interaction structure. But now with this formation of this state level committee on GST, we will have a regular interaction with all of you on GST as well. I think these are the few points which I had to share. I would love to hear from you regarding the different issues that you are facing and whatever that we can do to simplify it and resolve the problems. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir, for two things. One, for coming here and giving your time. And second, that you have incorporated our association's name also in the GST Coordination Committee. Thank you, sir. Sir, I would also like some problems with the department, and I would like your suggestion, sir, and I will answers positively, sir. Number one, sir, I would like to tell two things, sir. Number one, sir, कि जो यहाँ जयपुर राजस्थान की जो व्यवस्था है, सर, स्पेसिफिकली कि कंसल्टेंट्स काम करते हैं, सर. ट्रेडर कोई रिटर्न नहीं फाइल करता, सर. और ट्रेडर, सर, लास्ट टाइम आता है. और सर, डिपार्टमेंट की स्पीड जो सिस्टम की है बिल्कुल ठीक होगी, सर. पर जब ट्रेडर लास्ट टाइम आता है तो निश्चित रूप से उस समय कंसल्टेंट्स पे लोड बढ़ जाता है और वो समय पर रिटर्न नहीं भर पाता है और पेनल्टी आजकल ऑटोमेटिक लेट फी के नाम पर, सर. तो सर, हो क्या रहा है, सर, कि रात को 3 बजे 4 बजे अगर आप लास्ट डे में बात करेंगे कंसल्टेंट से तो यू विल फाइंड दैट ही इज ऑन द कंप्यूटर, ही इज फाइलिंग द रिटर्न, एंड स्पीड उस समय स्लो हो जाती है, सर, और काम नहीं कर पाती है, सर. तो सर, मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करना, हम नहीं चाहते कि डेट बढ़ाई जाए, सर. डेट एक्सटेंड करना किसी चीज का समाधान नहीं है, सर. पर डेट एक्सटेंड अगर जैसे आज, और कंसल्टेंट के हम सब इनकम टैक्स का भी काम करते हैं, सेल टैक्स का भी काम करते हैं, सर्विस टैक्स का भी काम करते हैं, और आजकल कंप्लायंस लेवल इतना ज्यादा बढ़ चुका है कि हर दिन कोई ना कोई कंप्लायंस है. और अब कई बार ऐसी सरकमस्टांस आती है, उस समय सारी कंप्लायंस एक साथ आ जाती हैं और वो हम लोग किसी भी चाहते हुए भी टाइम पर रिटर्न हमारे पास आ जाती तो भी नहीं भर पाते हैं. छोटी जगह में, सर, कंसल्टेंट्स की जान को आफत आ जाती है. वो व्यापारी तो वहां डंडा लेके खड़ा है, सिस्टम काम नहीं कर रहा और रिटर्न जा नहीं पाती, सर. तो सर, मैं आपसे निवेदन करना चाहूंगा कि इस स्पीड को थोड़ा बढ़ाएं, सर, और डेट्स को, सर, थोड़ा सा स्ट्रीमलाइन करें. हम लोग आपको एक बता देंगे, सर, कि इनकम टैक्स की ये लास्ट डेट है, टीडीएस की ये लास्ट डेट है, उसके अकॉर्डिंगली स्ट्रीमलाइनिंग कर लेंगे तो सर हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ी आसानी हो जाएगी और डिपार्टमेंट को इससे कोई नुकसान नहीं होने वाला, सर. टैक्स टाइम पे जाना चाहिए. और मैं दूसरी भी ये भी बात कहूंगा कि इवेडर्स कोई भी है, सर, उसको सख्त से सजा मिलनी चाहिए. इसमें हम कंसल्टेंट्स कोई भी किसका बचाव इवेडर्स का नहीं करना चाहते हैं, बट हम जो जेन्युइन टैक्स पेयर है और जो जेन्युइन कारणों से रिटर्न नहीं भर पा रहा है उसमें भी कंप्यूटर का रोल बहुत बड़ा है, सर, लास्ट डेज में. तो आपसे, चूंकि आप बहुत ही, आई थिंक यू कैन डू वंडर्स और यू कैन लिसन अस, तो आई विल रिक्वेस्ट कि सर ये जो स्पीड है इसको थोड़ा सा करें. और जो 10 की अभी रिटर्न आ गई, सर, ये लास्ट डेट है 31 दिसंबर. और सर किसी भी स्थिति में नहीं कर पाएंगे, सर. तो सर, आई सेल रिक्वेस्ट, सर, प्लीज दिस टाइम तो कुछ करें और आगे से सिस्टम ऐसा कर दें जिससे कि हमें एक्सटेंशन के लिए आपके पास जाना पड़े. वी डोंट वांट टू कम फॉर एक्सटेंशन एटलीस्ट विद यू, सर, बट तब तक ऐसा कर दें, सिस्टम बन जाए, उसके बाद हम भी, सर, हैप्पीली काम करेंगे, सर. दूसरा, सर, एक इस पे, सर, आप थोड़ा सा आप आश्वासन दे देते हमारे को.
जो सिस्टम की स्पीड का इशू है, डेफिनेटली ये एक इशू है और मेरी नॉलेज में है. हालांकि आपने ऑलरेडी अपना डिफेंस पॉलिसी दे दिया, जो मैं कहने वाला था कि रिटर्न फाइल करने के लिए ड्यूरेशन स्प्रेड आउट होता है, बट फॉर वट एवर रीजन होता है कि हम लास्ट के 3, 4, 5 दिन में ही सभी डीलर्स और फॉर दैट मैटर ऑल टैक्स कंसल्टेंट्स अपने रिटर्न्स फाइल करने के लिए सिस्टम पर आते हैं. उसके कारण से उस वक्त सिस्टम फिर ओवरबर्डन हो जाता है. We have fairly good speed, 40 MB is the speed we have, and which is fairly good if it is equally or relatively spaced out. But वो नहीं हो पाता है, आप लोगों की limitations भी उसमें है. So we are in the process of doing system study, क्योंकि कोई भी change करेंगे, it cannot be ad hoc change कि आज 40 है मैं उसको 50 कर दूं. And we will also look at the needs for GST systems, because we will have to upgrade our systems looking into the GST requirements. So whatever we'll be doing with both the things in mind, but rather sooner rather than later, we will address this problem in terms of systemic requirement of IT infrastructure. That is one thing. Regarding immediate extension, आपने अपनी बात कह दी है, अभी आप 31 दिसंबर तो आने दीजिए, तब तक तो करिए.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Sir, second thing I would request, sir, mismatch. सर मिसमैच के लिए मैं आपको बधाई देना चाहूंगा कि डिपार्टमेंट ने बहुत लोग इवेंटर्स पकड़े हैं और इट्स अ वंडरफुल थिंग सर, एंड वी अप्रिशिएट दिस एंड वी आर विद द डिपार्टमेंट इन ऑल दीज एक्टिविटीज वेयर इवेजन इज देयर. बट सर आप देखें सर कि 100 रुपए का मिसमैच है सर. 1 लाख रुपए आ रहा है सर, क्रेडिट डेबिट दोनों साइड में आ रहा है, 1,100,000 एक साइड आ रहा है, तो भी पूरा 1 लाख डिसअलाउ हो जाता है सर. 100 रुपए तो मैंने ज्यादा बता दी सर, 1 रुपए का डिफरेंस भी है ना, तो पूरा का पूरा डिसअलाउ हो जाता है सर. और सर ये मिसमैच, इसके कारण जेन्युइन डीलर को कितनी बड़ी परेशानी हो रही है सर, कि एक रुपए का डिफरेंस किसी क्लरिकल एरर किसी भी कारण से हो गया सर, तो वो कैसे पॉपअप करेगा सर. तो इसका कोई सिस्टम ऐसा कोई परसेंट का, इतना परसेंट या कुछ वेरिफिकेशन का, एटलीस्ट सर अपन जो असेसमेंट कर रहे हैं ऑनलाइन सेल्फ असेसमेंट, इट्स वेरी गुड थिंग सर, इट शुड बी कंटिन्यूड. बट सर जहां डिफरेंस आ जाए, ऑनलाइन में मेरे रिटर्न्स में और मेरे असेसमेंट में फर्क आ रहा है, देन आई शुड बी गिवन एन अपॉर्चुनिटी एटलीस्ट. अदरवाइज सर वो डिमांड होगा, ढेर हो जाएगा सर, और वो कैसे निकल पाएंगे सर, क्योंकि जेन्युइनली वो डिमांड मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस में होती नहीं है. कहीं ना कहीं सिस्टम की कहीं ना कहीं क्लेरिकल मिस्टेक की है. जहां भी फर्क आ गया सर दो चीजों में, वहां एक मौका मिल जाए एसएससी को, तो बेटर तरीके से सर रिप्रेजेंट कर पाएगा और उसकी समस्या का समाधान हो पाएगा. और मिसमैच में जो छोटे छोटे डिफरेंसेस के कारण मिसमैच की पूरी संख्या हो जाती है सर, इसको थोड़ा आप टेक केयर करें सर.
देखिए, मिसमैच की प्रॉब्लम इन जनरल रही है और जगह से भी मेरे पास शिकायत आई है, बट एज डिपार्टमेंट हमारी भी ये जिम्मेदारी है, एज पार्टनर्स ऑफ डिपार्टमेंट आप लोगों की भी जिम्मेदारी है कि यदि मैं किसी व्यक्ति को इनकम टैक्स का, इनपुट टैक्स का क्रेडिट दे रहा हूं, तो वो इनपुट टैक्स भी मेरे यहाँ पे जमा होना चाहिए. तो वो नहीं होता, इसीलिए ये प्रॉब्लम आती है. और पुराने समय के जो इस प्रकार के मिसमैचेज हैं उसमें काफी सिंप्लीफिकेशन भी किए गए हैं, काफी एग्जाम्पशंस भी दिए गए हैं. फिर भी आप ये जो पॉइंट अभी आपने उठाया है कि रुपया 2 रुपया या 100 रुपया, I'll have to look into it in a larger perspective. Definitely, I'll examine it and we'll try to find out a solution for you.
थैंक यू सर. सर वन मोर थिंग, रजिस्ट्रेशन कराते हैं सर, उसकी हार्ड कॉपी 3 दिन में पेश करनी पड़ती है सर. कोई महाराष्ट्र का, कर्नाटका का, आंध्र प्रदेश का डीलर यहाँ रजिस्टर्ड होता है सर, उसके जो साइनिंग अथॉरिटी सब बाहर होती है सर. अब विद इन 3 डेज सर इट इज वेरी टफ टू फाइल द हार्ड कॉपी सर. और वो जब तक मैंने ऑनलाइन पेश कर दिया, 3 दिन मुझे उसको भेजूंगा सर आपका निकलने और साइन करने के लिए, फिर वो आएगा, चाहे कितनी फास्ट कुरियर हो सर, कभी सैटरडे संडे आ गया सर, तो 3 दिन में सर बहुत टफ है सर. थोड़ा इसको सर रिजनेबल टाइम, एटलीस्ट वीक तो हो जिससे कि वो फाइल कर सके सर.
चलिए ठीक है, विल सी टू इट.
वन मोर थिंग सर फ्रॉम द हाउस सर, कि some authorities are issuing exemption certificate in respect of building construction work at the rate of 0.75%. जो बिल्डिंग कंस्ट्रक्शन पे इसी का जो नया कानून आया, नया आया है सर अभी, उसमें कुछ अथॉरिटी तो 0.75% पे इसी जारी कर रही हैं, कुछ अथॉरिटी 2% पे जारी कर रही है सर. तो क्लेरिफिकेशन आ जाए कि 0.75 है या 2 है. जो लैंग्वेज पढ़ते हैं उसमें तो 0.75 आता है सर. अब लेकिन उसमें भी कोई एक इंटरप्रिटेशन मिस्टेक के कारण 2% ले रहे हैं सर. तो आप एक बार उसको देखेंगे सर तो शायद वो ठीक हो जाएगा और ये जेन्युइन हार्डशिप एसएससी की दूर हो जाएगी सर.
We'll issue the clarification. We'll examine it and issue it.
रिफंड एप्लीकेशन सर, टारगेट तो हम लोग पूरा ध्यान रखते हैं सर. रिफंड एप्लीकेशन बहुत सारी पेंडिंग है सर. And sir, although there are so many things, template should not be changed frequently, sir. टेम्पलेट्स अपन, और सर वो टाइम भी होना था, शुरुआत में बदल दे तो इट्स ओके। अब आपके, थैंक यू सर। ये भी डिमांड है, एक साल में एक ही टेम्पलेट हो तो बेटर रहेगा, अगले साल के लिए चेंज करें तो, या अगले क्वार्टर के लिए करें तो भी वो थोड़ा तैयार हो जाएगा सर। एक सर क्वार्टरली रिटर्न को रिवाइज नहीं कर सकते एक बार पेश होने के बाद में, तो सर उसको कंप्लीशन असेसमेंट तक का रिवीजन हो जाए सर, जेन्युइन हार्डशिप के केसेस में, तो उसको बड़ी बड़ी मदद मिल जाएगी सर। क्वार्टरली रिटर्न पेश करी मैंने सर, कोई गलती रह गई मेरे से, कोई गलती जेन्युइन रह गई, उसको मैं रिवाइज नहीं कर सकता सर, ये हाउस से है। हाँ? एक डिक्लेरेशन फॉर्म्स है सर, हाँ रिवाइज 10 है, 10 के बारे में था, रिवाइज 10 को रिटर्न 10 को रिवाइज नहीं कर सकते सर।
What I would suggest कि जो भी issues हैं आपके,
यस सर,
you can compile all the issues and maybe we can sit separately and discuss it threadbare, whatever is feasible. We are pretty open and I personally I am pretty open to facilitate. So you can compile the issues and then we can have a separate sitting on that.
thank you sir, thank you sir। One more issue, last issue sir, in the year 2013-14 sir, one firm had been closed on 30th September 2013। assessee wants to file the return, डिपार्टमेंट बंद की मतलब क्लोजर सूचना भी दे दी, पर वो पुरानी रिटर्न मांग रहा है सर। वो कहता है कि आप सारी क्वार्टरली रिटर्न भरो तब जाकर के आप वो ले पाएंगे, एनुअल रिटर्न फाइल कर पाएंगे सर। तो जब मेरा फर्म ही बंद हो गया सर 30 सितंबर को, तो आगे के 2 क्वार्टर की रिटर्न में कैसे भर पाऊंगा सर? इट इज समथिंग सिस्टम मैकेनिज्म मिस्टेक सर। हाँ वो तो हो गया ना, हाँ हो गया नहीं, वो बाद में क्लियर कर दिया सर।
बीएससी यूटिलिटी के जब अपना रजिस्ट्रेशन करवाते हैं तो अपना अंडरटेकिंग देना
ठीक है। So sorry, now I don't want to take much of time of Galaria sahab, and we will collect all the information you send us on the mail. We will make a representation before sir, and then we will have a solution. Yes. Yes sir.
Sir, with respect to chair, there is a very big problem that
एक मिनट लेके एक सेकंड, क्या क्वेश्चन है?
मिसट्रस्ट है। I am Sudhir Sangal from Delhi. Sir, the biggest problem that we are facing with any of the department, whether it's income tax, whether it's VAT department, is a feeling of mistrust between the dealer and the department. At all points and all levels, the dealer is taken as to be corrupt or irregular or irresponsible. On the contrary, whatever is being done by the department is taken as to be a corrective measure, whether it is coercive or otherwise. Why this feeling cannot be taken off, whether by the income tax department or by the VAT department? You say we have got this help center. VAT department says they are going to open this help centers, but till there is a feeling of trust between the dealer and the department, for which we are made for each other, how the things will be resolved? This is my query.
Thank you sir, thank you very much. We will take this matter. Now, sorry for the all audiences कि अब और ज़्यादा समय नहीं है। मैं now I would like to make some announcements. After the lunch, just after this session, there will be a lunch. Sir. After the lunch, there will be third technical session on the panel discussion on the Companies Act. Thereafter, fourth session will be on the service tax by Atul Gupta ji, and Companies Act will be taken by Nishar Ahmed ji, and a panel discussion, wonderful session it is going to be there. I would request you all to be in time. And in the evening, there will be a cultural evening having a Indradhanush, colors of Rajasthan. I want your all participation. Thank you very much, friends. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Galaria Sahab. Thank you, Satish Sharma ji. Thanks a lot.